And for some reason, when in the dream, I had a dream that something else was going to pass because everything in my family comes in threes, all trauma, and it usually does for most families. But like when my grandma on my mom's side passed away, so did her parents. So that was three. And then, but I had a dream that if like that I basically could choose my own reality or my own timeline, kind of. And that if I like kind of keep doing just the next best thing, that the last thing wouldn't be someone really close to me or someone that I really care about. Instead, it would be like a family animal. I don't know why, but like the dream was very specific. And I ended up telling my mom, and because I was freaking out, I was bawling my eyes because it felt like so real. When I woke up, I was like, "Wait, did that just happen? Did I like which one is reality? The one I remember or that?" Because it was that overwhelming. And I remember telling because I went to work the next day and had some clients, and I remember telling my loft mate, the person that is in like a room next to me, his name was Jeff, and I remember telling him about it and bawling my eyes out and being like, oh my God, I can't lose these people. I love them too much. I've gotten too close to my grandpa by watching him. My cousin and I like are playing video games ever since she got back in remission, where we've been playing Overwatch on PlayStation. So I was just like, I can't lose these people. But I thank God because of what I was going through was allowing me to see that before it happened, so that way I could process it before it happened, so that way I could process my trauma later, when I needed to, and not have so much in my body that I couldn't function. Um, and so I ended up processing it by telling my mom, the loft mate, etc. And 2, 3 months later, my cousin goes back in remission, from remission, and has tumor and is given like 2 weeks to live. So she ends up having uh, a living memorial, and where it's basically a funeral but while you're alive. And I ended up showing her the story I wrote. I want to eventually turn it into a children's book, but it's the unicorn story is what I call it. And it's basically take a unicorn, that's Jesus. It's giving away its magic to every single person that has an ailment that it meets, like a cat with a thorn in its paw, and other things that are kind of biblically based. But then I also took that and made it so each one it was losing some of its power. And for the last one, it literally gives its horn away. And it was basically like me trying to acknowledge what I believe is a universal truth, and show what I was taught through my generational belief systems. And I wanted to show her that, like, in my opinion, there is an afterlife, there is more, don't be afraid, etc., through this story. So I wrote that for her, and that helped me process it a lot. And since it was a very abrupt thing, and then literally the next day, like a week later, while I'm watching my cousins, the ones who are related to the one who passed away, because the parents had to go out to Washington State, when we're in Ohio, to go all the way out there to finalize things, etc. And So the kids that were here, I ended up watching for like a week. And I remember the cousin had a purple elephant that she was obsessed with. Like, and I remember telling my cousins, like, that purple elephant was the word I would use when I didn't feel safe or comfortable, but I didn't feel like I could tell someone. It's what Miley Cyrus was told to say on stage when she forgot what she was supposed to say. So, like, that's how I felt, was like when I would go into a situation and someone was like manipulating me to go somewhere that I didn't want to go, etc. I would just say purple elephant, and like my family would call them. They'd be like, "Hey, you have to be home. You're grounded. What are you doing?" Like, and just have an excuse. So I love purple elephant for that reason. But basically, me and my cousins, I was telling them about it because I wanted them to feel safe. I wanted them to have that option. And I remember she was obsessed with unicorns. I was obsessed with elephants. And so her favorite color is purple and unicorns. So that's part of the reason why I made this story about a unicorn. But she ended up, I believe, uh, there was a Ohio State Fair that weekend. The same morning that my grandpa passed away, um, my cousins were all alone, and I was driving my one cousin to school, and we had to drop off her friend that I let spend the night just because that had happened, and or her cousin had passed. That's the reason why, because my grandpa hadn't yet. But basically, we are dropping off the friend, and guess what we see on top of someone's car in the exact freaking home right next to them, a purple unicorn sitting on top of the car right after, like a week after she or a month after she had passed, and the same day my grandpa had passed. And if I didn't let that friend spend the night, I didn't, like, there's so many things that had to fall into place for that, and I believe that is just God's plan that's falling into place.